Pentacle 2, Chapter 14, Ace of Pentacles. What is your half-brother called? Asked Kain. Daniel, said Eugenia, taking her father's wallet from his coat pocket. Inside there were two photographs, one of his two daughters and the other of baby Daniel. He's pretty cute, said Kain. He has your father's side. Yes, I know, the baby's a total peach, and he's the happiest baby I have ever seen. It doesn't take much to make him laugh, said Eugenia. The two chatted about the cute baby, and the subject of the intruder was brought by your niece, and then went into the panic room to look at the garden cameras. Kain frowned when he noticed that there was a camera inside Eugenia's bedroom, and Eugenia probably had recordings of all the times they had made it. The recording made it to the part when Sidanta noticed the intruder, and Sidanta was seen talking to the bamboos, and the camera showed there was nobody inside the bamboos grove. I am certain that I saw someone, insisted Sidanta. I saw him too, brrr, said Santiago, rubbing his shoulders to ward away the shivers. This is super freaky, guys, said Dorothy, trembling with fear. Maybe the angle of the shadows made it seem as if there was an intruder, suggested Kain, looking for a logical explanation. How do you explain the garden door left open by itself? Asked Santiago. The wind opened it, and I probably forgot to lock it on the way out, said Michael, yawning. How do you explain the light suddenly exploding? Insisted Santiago. A sudden power urge, said Sidanta. Any explanation is preferable than dealing with the alternative. And we should still perform an exorcism just to be safe, said Kain. You are starting to sound like Carina, joked Eugenia. How is that domestic partnership working for her? Every time I visit her house, it is smooth sailing through calm scenes, said Kain. And I have never seen a more happier couple. Huh, good for them, said Eugenia, feeling a tad jealous. And how often do you visit Carina? Her mother is my psychologist, so I see Carina 3 times a week, and I tend to linger there after my sessions, and we have dinner and we catch up, said Kain. Changing the subject, he added, and we have seen enough surveillance instead, and you want to see a horror movie with me. I thought you never asked, said Eugenia, amused by the idea, and I'm going to make the popcorn and go shower and pick a movie and make yourself comfortable. Kain went to Eugenia's bathroom to shower off the pool water, and was scrubbing his hair. He heard the shower door opening. Santiago, frowning, commented, You are a bigger man than I am. Jealous? Asked Kain, smiling coolly. Size doesn't matter if you don't know how to use it, protested Santiago. That's debatable, said Kain, debating him, and since it would be a lot easier for me if Eugenia would give me precise instructions. You're old enough to figure things out on your own, said Santiago. Every person is different, and Carina never had a problem with a lovemaker, and her successors, on the other hand, did have a problem, said Kain, continuing his shower. They didn't ask for what they wanted, therefore they didn't receive it. Kain finished his shower and he wrapped a towel around his wet hair before covering his masculinity with another towel, and he stood on the corner of the bathroom while he waited for Santiago to stop blocking the doorway. Kain resolved never to lower his guard in the presence of that man. Santiago sighed with frustration, and he entered the standing shower to begin his libations. With him out of the way, Kain was able to return to the safety of Eugenia's bedroom. He changed into his pajama, and he browsed through the DVDs in search of a good horror movie, and he gravitated towards Jeepers Creepers 2. In the end, he chose to watch Underworld since Eugenia had liked vampires. Eugenia manifested in the bedroom over the shower with popcorn, and she asked candidly, Do you pick a horror movie you like, Kain? I was thinking we should watch Underworld, said Kain, showing the DVD. And since Eugenia was quiet, he explained his choice. The movie features vampires, so I figured that it would be an... I asked you to pick a movie that you want to watch, said Eugenia, returning Underworld to the DVD shelf. What was your original choice? I wanted to watch Jeepers Creepers 2, said Kain meekly. I already saw the stupid movie, said Santiago, coming out of the bathroom. It wasn't as scary as the first, and the monster gets crucified by a rancher and his son. The humans win, and they all live happily ever after. Thanks for spoiling the ending, said Kain, hiding under the bedsheets. Let's find a movie that none of us has seen, said Eugenia, looking through her extensive collection. After some back and forth, Eugenia and Santiago chose to watch Leprechaun 2. Kain had already seen the movie, but he kept this to himself. He missed Eugenia so much, and he was being extra accommodating with the hope that she would invite him over more often. The movie came to no end, and Eugenia went to the bathroom in order to get changed and freshen up her makeup. And Kain's heart began to accelerate with anticipation, and it was time for him to mate with Eugenia, and what had started as a pleasant bonding experience had turned into a new source of stress, and if he performed well, Eugenia would invite him over more often, and if he did it wrong, she would call Santiago instead, and without her input, Kain had no idea what he was doing wrong. And maybe it wasn't the lovemaking that was the problem, and maybe she was angry at his failure to get along with her friends. Though why did she expect of Kain? Was he supposed to visit those strangers without her? It was then when he became aware of Santiago, and the bastard with the crooked nose was still there, and Santiago was still sitting in that beanbag silently judging him. And Santiago wanted to figure out what Kain had that he didn't, and Kain was far more tender with Eugenia. And Kain would randomly hug Eugenia when the two made eye contact, or he would kiss her hand, and other times he would pet Eugenia's hair lovingly. Kain was sickly sweet, and Santiago found that absolutely disgusting. Then again, he was viewing everything through the lens of a jealous ex-lover, and he was dying for another excuse to do physical harm to Kain. But Eugenia had given Santiago an ultimatum. If Santiago ever struck Kain again, their friendship was over, and in order to work off his excess rage, Santiago sprung from his seat and he started doing push-ups, and Kain had seen similar behaviors in prisoners in holding cells. Eugenia left the bathroom dressed like a maid, and she wanted to try role-playing, and she was bored doing the same scenes with Kain, and she hoped that an outfit would ignite the fires of Kain's passion, and his sweetness and constant hesitation was a little too distracting for Eugenia's taste. And in most of the recent encounters, she had ended their work out completely unsatisfied, and she wanted to tell Kain what he was doing wrong, but she didn't have the heart to critique him. She was even half afraid of making him cry if she dared to say that he wasn't meeting her expectations. Good grief, would you relax already, said Eugenia, sitting on top of Santiago. I am relaxed, said Santiago as he continued doing his push-ups. I was talking to Kain, said Eugenia, pointing to her boyfriend. Kain was as pale as a sheet, and he was hyperventilating, and Eugenia went to approach Kain, but the young man fled to the bathroom to throw up. Santiago, laughing, said, I guess your little boy toy isn't fond of maids. This isn't how I picture my night, said Eugenia, going to her closet to change into her pajamas. She knocked on the bathroom door. Kain, are you alright? We don't need to have sex every time we meet. If you're not feeling well, we can go directly to bed. The only response she got was harsh sobbing, and Kain was certain that Eugenia was going to leave him like all of the women who came before, and his own mother didn't love it, and Carina used him as a placeholder boyfriend till she found herself Bruno, and nobody in their right minds would want to be with a piece of shit like him, and these and many other self-depreciating thoughts went through his mind, and he was thinking alarmingly quickly, and before he drowned, two thin, delicate hands wrapped themselves around his head. There, just let it all out, said Eugenia with a tender tenderness. I'm so sorry, Eugenia. I'm sorry, said Kain between sobs. It's all right, Kain, you haven't done anything wrong, said Eugenia. Santiago peeped into the bathroom and he saw Kain crying, and he fancied that his competition was malingering for attention. If Kain was fake crying, he was a great actor. And in another room, Dorothy and Sidanta had stopped meeting when they heard crying coming from another room. Dorothy commented before continuing, my sister's boyfriend is such a crybaby. All men are crybabies, said Sidanta dryly. I had never seen you cry, Sidanta, commented Dorothy, pinching Sidanta. Adam Brucey, said Dorothy, you are going to have to try harder, said Sidanta, goading his girlfriend to play rough with him. Kain stopped crying after half an hour, and Eugenia took Kain to bed after washing his mouth. When he was this vulnerable, he stimulated Eugenia's maternal instinct, and the intruder Santiago was still in the room trying to go unnoticed, a difficult task for such a hulking man. Eugenia rested Kain's head on top of her thin chest, and she patted his back with her delicate lady fingers, and while he was sleeping soundly, she breathed a sigh of relief, and Kain turned on the bed, and he instinctively pushed himself to the edge while hugging his pillow. Eugenia used that chance to carefully slip out of bed, and she tiptoed towards the balcony in order to distance herself from the situation. It was then when she noticed that Santiago was still there. Santiago was about to voice his complaint when Eugenia placed her index finger over her lips. Eugenia slowly opened the balcony door. Once the two were safely outside, she closed it in order to speak with Santiago in harsh whispers. That guy is a ticking time bomb, Eugenia, warned Santiago. He's no good for you, and you better leave him before he hurts you. Kain is a pussycat, Santiago, said Eugenia, and he has never laid a finger on me. And during the few times we do argue, he converses with utmost civility, and you are the one who is acting dangerously, Santiago, and I saw you throw the first punch. He went crazy. He was going to shoot your mother's fingers, insisted Santiago. Man shouldn't have locked them out, said Eugenia, and the two argued like an old married couple, and at the end of the argument, Eugenia reiterated, "You just have to put up with him, Santiago, even if I break up with Kain. He's always going to be a part of my life because I love him." Santiago didn't know whether to be happy or sad. Eugenia was thinking of breaking up with Kain, but she loved him, and whether he wanted to or not, he was going to have to put up with Kain. Eugenia returned to the bedroom, and she smiled sadly when she saw that Kain was awake, and she kissed his eyelids till her boyfriend fell asleep. And the following morning, Kain awoke to the smell of breakfast. Eugenia made him brunch, and she had made something digestible for him to eat. And once he was fed, she brought a weighted scale, and she made Kain stand on it, and she wrote down his current weight. Kain didn't question this, rather he was happy to have a new woman in his life who mothered him. And he finished his morning libations, and he went to the gardens. And outside, Dorothy and Eugenia were sunbathing, and Santiago was inside the pool swimming laps, and he had a well-sculpted body to maintain. "Hey there, sleepyhead," said Eugenia, jumping from her seat to kiss Kain on the cheek. "Good morning, Eugenia." "Yawn, what time is it?" asked Kain. "It is going to be noon in 3, 2, 1, said Eugenia, looking at her cell phone. "So what's today's plan?" asked Kain with a childish smile painting on his face. "It's a nice Saturday, so I thought we should just loaf around," said Eugenia, returning to her chair. "That sounds perfect. Let me get changed." "Or maybe you should just wait a bit before entering the pool," said Dorothy, "and I don't want you to get sick again." "I am fine," said Kain, "but if you insist." Kain returned to the bedroom to fetch his gimbal advice, and he played Castlevania Aria of Sorrow for half an hour. And once he finished adjusting his foot, he changed into his swimming trunks, and he joined Santiago in the pool. Eugenia was a little tense by the situation, and her parents had gone out on a date, and Sidanta had gone home. If a fight broke out between Kain and Santiago, there was no strong man around to stop the two. Santiago didn't bother to stop swimming on account of Kain, and he pretended that Kain wasn't there. Kain went to the other side of the pool in order to put as much physical distance between himself and Santiago. No, this won't do," said Eugenia, stomping on the floor with her sandal. "And would you two just mature already? Kain, come over here." "Yes, honey," said Kain, swimming towards Eugenia. "You too, Santiago," insisted Eugenia, and with both men facing her, Eugenia said, "Let's do a couples therapy session." "Are you fucking high, Eugenia? And why do I have to do couples therapy with a pig, and he's not even my boyfriend?" protested Santiago, finally exploding. "First of all, I want you to check the snappy tone," said Eugenia, folding her arms. "And you're on thin ice, Santiago. And now, I was reading this couple self-help book, and it said that the best way to ease all tension is to talk about your feelings. Now let's start with you, Santiago. Tell Kain what you don't like about him." Santiago sighed wearily, and Dorothy handed him a cold beer with lemon. Santiago drank half of it in one gulp, and with Eugenia sober and hyper-focused, Santiago knew that he wasn't going to be able to lie. "I don't like that Kain is a cop," said Santiago. "Obviously," said Dorothy, laughing. "You're a one-note type of guy, aren't you, Santiago, dear?" "Kain, what don't you like about Santiago?" asked Eugenia. "I don't like that he gives you drugs," said Kain. "That is such a cop answer," protested Santiago. "Santiago, if Kain was literally anything else, would you continue to dislike him?" asked Eugenia. "If he was a soldier, I would still despise him," said Santiago. "He makes money hurting others, and that's wrong." "I could say the same thing about you, Santiago," retorted Kain. "I haven't given you permission to speak, Kain," said Eugenia, pointing to her boyfriend. "I am sorry," said Kain, sinking in his mouth below the waters to make bubbles. "Kain, will you get along with Santiago if he starts getting me my poison?" asked Eugenia. "It is impossible to get along with a bully," said Kain. "All right, we are making progress," said Eugenia, smiling thinly. "And you both perceive one another as bullies, and that is the root of your mutual distrust for one another." "At least my distrust is based on experience," protested Kain. "When he isn't looking for an excuse to hurt me, he acts like a passive-aggressive bitch, or he treats me like a piece of furniture, and I have never done anything to earn his animosity." "And my broken nose doesn't count as something," said Santiago, pointing at his crooked nose. "He made it better," said Dorothy, snickering. "Now your boring face has some character." "You are not helping, sis," said Eugenia, and she picked up her self-help book and she flipped a few chapters ahead, and smiling coolly she said, "Kain, tell Santiago the reason why you became a cop." I like working for my for my uncle Gant. The pay is more than enough to cover my expenses, and I get health insurance and a pension when I retire, said Kain. You could have been a firefighter if you like money security so much, said Santiago. Or I could have been a garbage man. Being a cop is no different than being a garbage man. It is a thankless job, and those who perform it get no respect. But if the garbage man starts picking up the trash, that is the only time when the citizens become aware of your existence, said Kain Sanson sadly. We are damned if we do, we are damned if we don't. You are missing the bigger socio-political issues, said Santiago before ranting about police corruption. Kain debated Santiago with the same emotionless, calculating tone of a career politician, and for every point that Santiago brought up, Kain already had a well-rehearsed rebuttal, and Eugenia found it amusing to see Santiago losing a political debate. The two ranted for hours about a topic that both truly didn't feel strongly about. You are sharper than I gave you credit, said Santiago thoughtfully. And Uncle Lorraine taught me debate, plus I read a lot of useless information when I'm at home by myself, and whatever topic you wish to discuss, know that I won't be an easy opponent, said Kain. Have you ever killed anyone, asked Santiago? Not yet, but I have shot 2 people, and very recently, I might add, said Kain, and most of the time I am making forensic drawings, clearing the latrines, processing evidence, providing security for peaceful protesters, feeding the homeless, working in the DARE program, and fishing for speeding drivers. Oh, and I'm also in charge of buying donuts and coffee. That's a lot of jobs for just one guy, commented Dorothy. Uncle Garen likes to give me variety because if I do the same task for too long, I grow bored beyond tears, said Kain. Alright, that's the end of that chapter. Bye-bye and God bless.